Now, I myself was raised a Southern Baptist. Please don't all run for the door at once. You can always count on the theology of the Southern Baptist to be short and sweet, like their idea of heaven. You ain't Southern Baptist, you ain't coming.
Susan Sparks is a stand-up comedian with a pulpit.
Who could forget the wedding in Cana where Mary comes to Jesus in a panic and goes, "They're out of wine!" And Jesus kind of shrugs and goes, "So?" I'm paraphrasing. People believe that to be serious about church, you have to be serious in church. And they've just been taught, like I was, that you can't laugh. Mary turns to the servants and says, "Just do whatever he says." And then she turns to Jesus and goes, and thus his first miracle was done. You know, if you can laugh at yourself, you can forgive yourself. And if you can forgive yourself, then you can forgive others.
Since 2007, Sparks has served as senior minister of Madison Avenue Baptist Church in Manhattan.
Morning, how you doing?
She's the only woman to have served in the church's 160-year history.
I have a lot of young people coming in the door who have been so turned away from organized religion. "Hey man, what's going on?" Yeah. They're scared to come in the door, but they want to. And so I greet them up front with a big smile. Just say, "Welcome, come in." "Morning, y'all." Which they're not expecting. They don't know what to do with that. Am I trying to convert them into my way? No. What I'm actually trying to do is convince them that the spiritual path, that religion, that God is safe, which is what they are not sure about right now.
Once a corporate trial lawyer, she studied stand-up as a tool to use in court.
I remember one particular case, I had a guy on the stand. He's had an arm injury, and so I said, "Well, Mr. Smith, can you show the jury how high you're able to raise your arm right now?" And with great effort, he's like, "Ooh, ooh." "Now, can you show the jury how high you could raise your arm before the accident?" "Oh, yes, ma'am." If you can get people to laugh with you, then there's an instant rapport.
For the next 10 years, she practiced law and did stand-up comedy on the side, but felt yet another calling.
I knew I was being called to the ministry, but I didn't see how it would fit because I was a comedian, stop there, and also I was a woman, and I came out of a tradition that didn't ordain women. You know, they'll put them in space and on the Supreme Court, but they won't put them in a pulpit. I actually stopped going to church when I was about 7. Really just not very pleasant experience with the very conservative Southern Baptist that I grew up with, and so I didn't go to church for like 20 years. What I didn't understand was that church was all about God's PR reps on earth. It wasn't necessarily about God.
Despite her reservations, she enrolled at Union Theological Seminary with the hope of bringing more humor to ministry.
Those professors in seminary were not ready to teach theology to a comedian. I've gotten a lot of pushback being a minister and a comedian, and it's from fellow ministers. Isn't that funny? They sure weren't ready to teach Hebrew to a Southerner. Baruch atah Adonai, y'all. Saying everything from you're watering the message down to you're taking the Gospels to a common denominator that's beneath it, to actually the word blasphemy. I'm a big believer that we're all children of the same God, and that God has a sense of humor. My goal is to get people to leave straighter, a little taller, you know, wanting to go out into the world and do something healing and positive and feeling better about themselves. Gospel means good news. Somehow we've lost track of that.
We will return after these messages.